happy Monday. Welcome to A VO's Journey. My name is Anthony Pica. This show is all about helping the new and upcoming voiceover artists grow their business and sidestep all of the crazy things that I seem to step on. It's great to be back. It was a wonderful weekend. My daughter had her birthday, and it was lots of fun. So I was with family, and we went to do some horseback riding, actually. It was one of her first times, as well as go to a petting zoo, and it was just lots of fun. So it was a great weekend. But it is nice to be here and to be talking with you all. I've got a great topic today about voiceover distractions, and I have a story for you about something that happened to me a while ago. So, hey, thanks, guys. Something that you might not know is about 12 to 13 years ago, I actually bought a small restaurant / coffee shop. And I'll never forget, I was thrilled. You know, I'd always wanted to be in business. My family had been in business, but I'd never owned my own. So I was at the time working at a bank, and this was in a transition because, you know, I had been a teacher all my career up to that point, and then I had taken a break and gone into banking a little bit, which, by the way, was right during the whole depression, thing going on with the banking industry. So, anyways, but the point is that I wanted to own a business, and so I looked really hard. I taught myself all of this stuff with business books and all these things, and finally, this opportunity came up for me to purchase this small restaurant / coffee shop. And, I did everything I could do to learn about it. I spoke to my wife and, I convinced her it was a good idea. And I did all the numbers and kind of made them work, if you know what I mean. But I was so anxious to have a business that I bought the business on owner financing with the people who owned it. And I jumped right in. So as I was doing this business, I did not know anything about restaurant business or coffee. I enjoy coffee, but I'm not a coffee connoisseur by any means. So what happened during this business is as we went along, I started to get focused on things. Now, looking back at it, I can say this, but I started to get distracted by things. So one day I had hired someone, and they were working there, and they had come from Starbucks. And they had told me, about all this stuff and all, about all these wonderful things Starbucks and stuff had done. So I was listening to them and, thought about the brand and everything that I was having. And I got this idea fixated in my head that I had to make sure that everything I had was just, had my logo and my brand on it. And it distracted me from the other things that make, our businesses work, like the production when we're talking about voiceover, or in that case, it was the actual quality of the food and how it was being produced, and how it was being given out and bought and purchased. I lost focus on everything else when it came to the experience of the customer, right? I was so fixated on making this one thing work that I found these fancy stamps, right? Because I wanted to get my logo on the cups, because we were like a coffee shop, right? And I wanted to get my logo on the cups, and I wanted to make it all look fancy. I had bags, and I wanted to do that. I wanted to get shirts with our logo on it. I wanted to do all this stuff to make it be like a logo. Do you know what I'm saying? And it became this huge personal challenge or mission. And, the financial part of the business, I had to do what I had to do, but, it was never a focus. I wasn't focusing on that. Everything I did was on this one little part of my business, not all the other parts, not on the marketing and the advertising, because I thought that in itself was what I needed to focus on. So it distracted me from everything else I was doing. And I can tell you, as time went on, so many things happened to me because of those distractions. Like, for example, Things happened right under my nose where I had people stealing from me, and which happens regularly in the restaurant business. But that was a real hard challenge. I didn't even realize it because I was so fixated on something so minuscule, and I had gone so far down the rabbit hole that it just went right over my head. Customers, I remember sitting thinking, it's lunchtime. Where is everybody? Why isn't anybody here? And, if I think back in the way I run my business now and the way I ran that business there, I fixated so much on the wrong things. I let distractions, and people or things I saw somewhere, lead me down avenues that I thought, like, for example, maybe I needed to add some extra, goodies, like packaged goodies so people could purchase them. Or maybe I needed to, offer a different type of food. That was the problem. Maybe I needed to do this or that. But never did I stop and focus on my business and how it was being run, right? I didn't focus on the systems that went into purchasing the food, the products, the marketing, the advertising, I didn't focus on the finance. I didn't focus on making sure that my house was clean, if you know what I mean. And I don't mean like the business clean. I mean like, that's not the right word. I didn't make sure that my house was taken care of. You know what I mean? Metaphorically speaking, like my restaurant was taken care of when it came to, the floor or the things. Everything was cleaned every day, of course, but it wasn't one of those things where I put more effort into trying to figure out how to make the business run successfully from one to the other. I just got distracted. Like I needed a TV that would bring people in. I needed an alcohol license, which is important to have. But we're talking about a little coffee shop and a restaurant, and that's fine. But, the point I'm trying to make is I got so distracted by so many different things that I lost focus on what was the most important, and that was running a business, making sure that you have those systems in place for your production, your marketing, and your finance. And if you think like filling out financial reports is not important, that's where you're wrong. And I was wrong. I fill out financial reports in my business now, and it makes the world of a difference. It helps guide me and know what's working and what's not working. It helps forecast for me what's happening next month, what I need to do, what story the numbers are telling me, what people like, what people don't like, where I'm making income, where I'm wasting time. Right? I mean, the production aspect, how can I get from point A to Z and make sure that my process is as successful as it can be, but also, most importantly, the customer's process from A to Z working with me, all right, is the very best process that I can offer them, as opposed to me doing flashy things. Now it's easy for me to say, like, I don't want to purchase any more stuff because I have great things. But, I remember a time that's all I thought about. I have to purchase new stuff. I got to purchase things. And again, it might be easy for me to say because I have everything that I want now. But as I look back on things, it is so important to not get fixated on that stuff as being the most important thing. Sure, get the gear that you need, but running of the business and the systems that go into it are so much more important. And don't get distracted by all the flashy things that you have to, that you might hear or you might think is what is going to make your business grow. Stay focused on those 3 items and make them the very best that you can be. Production, your marketing, and your finance. Within your production, you are trying to make your business run as smoothly as possible from the moment you get something, like a voiceover, what the customer sees from your business. That means your website, your social media presence, your pictures, your branding, everything that goes into it, your advertising, your communication policy, your return policy. Everything that you do, everything that you say, everything they see goes into production, and that's before you even do a voiceover. Once you deliver the voiceover, you know what I mean? How quickly do you deliver it? What's your communication policy then? How fast do you go from A to Z when you're recording? Does it take you forever to record something small because you're not sure about how you should be doing a recording yet? Meaning like your levels or your EQ, that's not figured out yet. Does someone message you and you don't know what to charge them when they ask you? These things are vital to the production aspect of your business because that's what helps you move along, a customer from A to Z, and that has a great experience and a consistent experience, right? What about marketing and advertising and branding? Those are three completely different things, but you need to be focusing on those, but you need to be focusing on making them run, right, in an important way. Now, that's funny. That was my 10-minute alarm because I had set a 10-minute alarm to make sure I didn't go over 10 minutes until I get to questions because I really want to move this forward. And the last thing was finance. Are you actually creating financial reports? Are you creating profit and loss statements? Are you creating a balance sheet on a monthly or a or bi-monthly or even 6 months to a year? Do you even know what a balance sheet is? Do you have a cash flow statement? Why is that important? Why are those statements important? I mean, I talked about it a little earlier, but they are vital to running any business, right? Because if cash is going out over here and it's not coming in over here, or it's being spent here, or it's coming in over here and you're focusing over here, or, one of the most, and I've said this before real quick about a balance statement. When I focused on a balance statement for my business, my current business, my voiceover business, it really blew my mind and it made me step back and think about where the value in my business was actually. Because if only assets I actually had was the equipment I owned, well, my business really isn't worth that much. So so it made me think about my business as a whole and to say, well, what do I need to do as a business owner to grow the assets in my business, to grow the worth of the business, to make it worth more than just my voice? Because if my voice ever gone or I ever got laid up, I was sick or something, I couldn't do this, what happens, right? These things, I think about these things, and it's because of those financial reports. So this whole video today is just to make sure that you are not getting distracted by the wrong things, that you're focusing on the running of your business. And what you'll notice is the thing I mentioned the least amount of was the actual voice over, right? And I mean that in a way, not to say that our voiceovers aren't important, because they are. That's our product. I mean, that's what we're selling, but that's really not what we're selling. What we're really selling is the overall business. That's our product, right? And if you're really struggling selling your business, your product, which is your business, then you need to look at those three items. You need to look at your production, you need to look at your marketing, you need to look at your finances, and you need to say, how does this look to the world? How is it running? And if that's why I'm struggling, something is not working there. One of those three are either not being paid attention to at all, the systems are all screwed up, or it's just not working. They're not in harmony. And it's so funny because as we do this and as you do this, you'll see all of these fun things, these websites, gear, all this stuff pops up into you and they're all shiny. And then I know, like Jeremy just said about record keeping or something as I was glancing down. I mean, like those things are so important because they tell you what's actually happening with your business, and they actually will help you move forward because they will show you where the gaps are, where things aren't happening, where things should happen, where you should be putting in effort. Because instead of you following whatever way the wind blows, like that's what distractions are, which is what I did when I ran my first business, is I just let the wind blow me wherever it was. And whatever a random person said, oh, you should have a TV. Oh, you don't have wine. That's what your problem is. All these things. And I would go down every single rabbit hole. Instead of focusing on those things that I just mentioned to you, those three things, focusing on the specific running and record keeping and determining where, I need to be putting my energy, where I need to be investing money. Do you have $200 to spend? How do you invest it? How do you know how to invest it, right? In your business. Do you even have a budget for your business? Have you even thought about that? Is it still a hobby where you just kind of throw whatever whenever you add it? Or are you treating it as if this is the business you want it to be? And if you don't know how to run a business, that should be very clear to you that that's what you need to be working on, is learning about financial statements, learning about investment. I always say, and it's funny because people ask me about this, but I always say, if I had $1,000 and I invested in something and it brings me back $2,000, right? I'll spend $1,000 every single second for the rest of my life. Okay? But here's the thing. People struggle spending money because they don't look at the benefits, or more importantly, they don't understand what it is to invest something that return. They understand the idea of it, but they don't understand the way it looks on paper or detaching from the emotional aspect. And that is why record keeping, that is why running a business is different than a hobby. Making money is different than losing money. Okay? All right. Anyways, I went over the 10 minutes, but I wanted to keep it faster. So again, voiceover distractions. Focus on your business and the running of your business. Some people might call it the least sexy thing to do, but man, it is the most important thing to do. All right. Well, I want to thank everybody on Instagram today. I've got all kinds of people over there. Deb, Jessica, hi. Ariana. I've got Rich over on Facebook. Zach on YouTube, Walter, Kevin, Switch, John, Greg, Wolf Creek Training and Consulting LLC. Jeremy, it's good to see you. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and post them now. But other than that, I hope this has been helpful if you have been and got down on one of those rabbit holes, or you feel you're traveling down something, or there's this microphone that you just have to have, and that will change your voiceover trajectory forever. You know what I mean? Take a step back. I'm not telling you not to get the microphone. I'm just telling you to take a step back and look at everything else, right? Look at what everything else is happening with your business, okay? Because in the end, this microphone here could be any other microphone, but it's the business as a whole that really makes the difference, okay? All right, let's take a look. We've got Rich. What's up, man? Thanks, Steve. Thank you, sir. Nicholas, let's say over on Instagram, Jessica's from Hamburg, Germany. Hey, Jessica, cool. What time is it over in Germany right now? What time? It's 1:17 p.m. here. I wonder what time it is in Germany. Let's see. SCORE has free webinars on business, startups, and financial management. Absolutely, Alan. Absolutely. SCORE, which is another program from the Small Business Association. All right, the SBA, which is another great place that you could go. It's a government site, but it's absolutely chock full of information. There's tons of places for small businesses out there. You've got to know how to run a business, because guess what? That's what this is. It's a business. And this is what I want to think about. What if tomorrow you took yourself and removed your voice from the equation and had to take someone else and place them as the voice of your business? But they didn't run it. All they did was voice your business, like do the voiceovers. What would you do? You'd need to know how to run a business without doing voiceovers, but you were still selling it as a product, right? So if you did that, I want you to think about that. How would you run the business then? Okay? All right. Let's see. Switch. I'm just starting up. I'm going to be working on creating YouTube content that deals with voice work, but will be fun, a bit goofy. But the idea is for it to help me get my name out there. That's great, Switch, but why? What will getting your name out there do for you? What will happen? What is your business's goal? What is the point of you creating? Hopefully, we're creating a business, right, so that it can give us the life that we dreamed of, right? Not just to do it, but if we actually have a dream, dreams are useless, right, unless we make them reality. So what you want to do is you want to have, this is cool. I like it, creating YouTube content that deals with voice work. I love it. I kind of do that, right? But I know what you're saying here. But again, why? What's it going to do? Then how can you turn your love into something that makes you money? Okay? And it's not being greedy, right? We have to have money to survive. Okay? But the point I'm trying to make to you, Switch, is that this is great, but it's the business that you build around it that makes it successful. Okay? Jessica said it's 1917, so that means it must be, 7 p.m. over there? Well, I guess that's not, so it's about 6 hours. Yeah. Oh, unless it's, yeah, no, it's 6 hours ahead. Yeah, 6 hours ahead. That's right. That's right. Because you're that way, not that way. Like it matter. Like my head movements matter. For me, you're east, not west. So east, we are going to lose a game. All right. So let's see. Dinner time, right? So, oops, sorry, I'm late. No problem. My auto. Excellent food for thought. Thanks, Marcus. The dream is to have a production company at some point making baby steps. Cool. Cool. All right. But think about, again, the production company. You know, what is the point of the company? What is the point of your business? You know, what is it? Excuse me. Right? Is the point of your business, what is it to, you know, what is it going to do for you? What do you want your life to be? What do you want your life to look like? All right. Jeremy says, bog. What is that, Jeremy? Does anyone know how hard it is to add vocal to Audacity? Iato, what in the world? We're not talking about Audacity, but I understand. Clan Project. BDoggy45. Hey there, Anthony. I was curious, what kind of tax documents should I take note of if I plan to start up the official business next year in 2020? Good call. Listen, taxes are important because the wonderful thing about our business to start is that we get paid as contractors, right? As businesses. So we are paid upfront without taxes taken out. But the thing is that if you've been an employee or you are an employee, you know that they take the taxes out immediately, depending on what you claim. So like if you claim 0, right, you're going to get all your taxes taken out. So come tax time, it's like, oh boy, you get a refund check. But for us, we don't get that because we're paid all up front and we have to pay taxes on the back end. Or when you start your business, you can pay them quarterly depending on where you live or whatever. You can pay, every quarter for the 4 quarters of the year. So when it comes to April time, tax time, you don't owe anything. But the tax documents you got to focus on is actually, and you know what, I recommend you need to go to a tax specialist. Yeah, you have to, because there's going to be things like, for example, I didn't know that there was different classifications for what we're doing, as opposed to, since I'm a voiceover artist, I'm creating that voiceover work, as opposed to being a studio who is kind of curating that content. They're actually taxed differently. I didn't know that. So you need to know, and you need to work with people or a tax advisor who knows that information, because when it comes down to it, the government and the taxes are your single highest expense. It's your single highest expense. When we're employees, we don't think of it that way per se because it comes out before we even see it. But this, we have to write, Uncle Sam a check, and it's tough. All right, so totally pay attention to that. Let's see. John is in the UK, 1820. Gotcha, 620. I want to take what I did in the classroom and deliver it on the WW. Nice, John. Auto, cool, a normal person that does not sneeze in multiples. Okay, Jeremy, big, hairy, audacious goal. I like that, Jeremy. Big, hairy, audacious goal. That's funny. All right, John says I was teacher. All right, well, hey, listen, thank you guys so much for watching. On the big, hairy, audacious goal point, we're going to call it a day. Thank you. Remember, okay, voiceover or any business, there's tons of distractions. Make sure you are always focused on running your business, the production, your marketing, and your finances. Make sure you're always focused on making those better, okay, and how your business as a whole is a product, not just your voiceover. All right, you guys, thank you so much. Make sure you take an opportunity to like this, retweet it if you're on Twitter, follow me, subscribe, do all that jazz. It really does help, and it helps get this video work out there to everybody else. I really do appreciate that. Also, I've got a really cool thing going on. Every week now, I'm doing a group where we're going to be focusing on growing your Fiverr business. You can check it out on my website, www.aviosjourney.com. And you can see it there. You can sign up, and we meet every week. And it's on Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern. If you can't make it, there's always replays available. But it's going to be a fantastic group, and it's going to help a lot of people. I'm really excited about it, focusing on growing your Fiverr business as well as, getting you business in general. All right, you guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. You guys have you know what? It was funny. The other day, real quick, my son told me, he said, Dad, He said, you realize there's like a 10-minute delay. He says there's like a 30-second or minute delay for questions and stuff. So like if you go off too early, people don't have a chance to get you questions. I was like, oh, yeah. So with that being said, I got to remember to wait in case anybody has something. And Zach just posted something. Speaking of taxes, I will be filing with a business for the first time. I've been told we are taxed as a service rather than a product, but have not been confirmed by my accountant. True? Well, it depends on what you do. And it depends on what your business is. You know, like are you an LLC, but are you a single member LLC, or are you a corporation, or are you an S corp? Right? Like, are you taking a salary, but you're also you're making money, but you're taking a dividend, which a dividend will decrease your overall taxes, right? But are you even making enough money to do that yet? Or are you a sole proprietor where you're being taxed like you would be an employee, but there's no really tax benefits as a sole proprietor? So these are a lot of things to think about. And you've got to work with a professional who's going to be able to help you so that you're not writing, so you can write a little bit less. I mean, taxes are important. We need to pay them. I agree. But at the same time, we don't want to be paying more taxes than we have to, okay? Because that's our hard-earned money we worked for. All right, you guys, thank you so much again. I appreciate it. You have a wonderful, wonderful day. I will talk to you soon, all right? Bye, everybody. Peace out.